Hello and welcome. It's the Great Southern Ancient Miniature Man, and I've got an unboxing. Victrix finally got here. It was delayed by the postage issue with the Royal Mail in the UK recently. You might be aware there was some sort of a attempted extortion to try to get them to pay a ransom to unlock some of their systems. Anyway, from my understanding, I don't know much about it, but I think the Royal Mail told them to piss off, not going to pay them a cent, and just accept the fact that they were out of action for quite a while, certainly for international shipping, which is a really brave thing to do, but I think very sensible in the long term. Hopefully no one will bother doing that again. Anyway, just delay this a little bit for me, but here it is. Horse archers, Scythian and Parthian. 12 excellent dudes riding horses in all sorts of interesting configurations. Let's have a look. The usual 12 per set, which you get with the Victrix. Usual bag. Not a fan of big bags, but anyway, keeps the cost down. You get this paper instruction thing, which is good. They seem to be doing that with their kits now, although in this case it's just a list of all the components. It doesn't actually give you any information as to how to assemble them, which I'm not sure if that's a bit of a whoopsie or whether that's all they wanted to provide. Even on the back of the card that comes with it, they used to have some sort of directions as to which bits go with which, but perhaps it's because it's all obvious and they can all go with each other in this set. It's having a sip of some Great Southern Ancient Miniature Tea. Very nice, very nice. Okay, what have we got? So in this kit, different to a lot of Victrix kits, you get 4 individual horses, like unique horses, which is nice. A lot of their kits only have 3. Let's have a look at one of these individual sprues. So I think the Victrix website, somewhere I read anyway, says they're slightly smaller than other Victrix horses deliberately, because the sort of step ponies were a little bit smaller, which is probably a good thing, because often Victrix are a little bit criticised for their horses being too big. As far as I could tell, they're all different to previous Victrix horses, like slightly different poses. They look similar to the Persian ones, but I'm pretty sure they're not exactly the same. And you would notice also, apart from the fact you get 4 different horses, you get all these bow cases, and each one is unique, which is cool. So it's, I counted 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, all individual bow cases, and all with interesting patterns and shapes on them, which lend themselves to being painted rather than having to buy the decals that they've provided for other kits. So I think that's good. You can end up quite expensive, those decals, so being able to avoid that is pretty cool. And then you get the sprues for the riders. So actually that one I've taken a few bits out. Let's have a look at one that is unsullied. So here we are. So heaps of heads, as you usually get, and I counted them up before. I'm pretty sure it was 17 that I came to. But you'll notice a lot of them have sort of little extensions, so hair extensions, or these extensions of the hat, a sort of what do you call it, neck drape thing at the back. And I think there's the first time ever in a Victrix kit you see there's a few females. So we've got 2 female heads there, and they're for the Scythians, who were renowned for having female warriors. You know, the Greeks, that's where the idea of the Amazons come from ancient Greece. I think the Greeks were not quite sure whether they thought it was an amazing thing or a bit of a horrifying thing to see female combatants, but apparently they were just as fierce and capable as the men. So you get 2 heads there, female heads, and 1 female body. A little bit, I think they could have maybe put a bit more diversity in, maybe a couple of female bodies and 3 or 4 different heads, considering you got 17 heads. But anyway, at least it's a start, move in the right direction of a bit more diversity from Victrix, so that's pretty cool. You'll see there's 3 bodies, but the setup is that you have separate torsos, so you can obviously get more variety by switching them around. They do have an interesting little system. You might be able to just see that yeah, they have a little groove in the sort of abdomen part of the bodies, and then the pelvic bit, I guess, abdominal bit, then has a little flange on it, so they snugly fit into there, easy to put them in the right position. If you wanted to make the body twisted in a different way, you could always cut off that flange and just glue them however you feel like. And then obviously heaps of arms with different configurations of bows, arrows, and then plenty of side arms. So we've got a few nice small swords there, and then at the bottom of the sprue the whole thing is weapons, daggers and swords and axes, and these Persian style, I can't quite remember the name for that one, a special name for those nasty sharp little axes the Persians had. So this is designed to be Parthian or Scythian. Some of these hats are very tall, pointed, gnome-like ones, characteristic of the Scythians. One there. And then we get 2, one kind of that way, maybe 3, and then these ones, you can probably say that one, 4 or 5 plus the female heads. So yeah, you can do plenty of Scythian ones as well. And then you've got this one really cool standard there. So I think it's going to be good fun to put together. Always quality from Victrix. You are guaranteed of a solid set. I have put a few together, so I'll give you a quick look at these guys thus far. 3 of the horses, and together one female Scythian rider carrying the bow and the few arrows in that hand. Horses a bit more. Nice, fairly simple one there with a saddle cloth and a little bit of ornamentation on the straps. This one a bit more ornate, so it's got some little metal studs there and the triangular edging to the saddle cloth, plus a bit of a decorative head thing and a more manicured tail. And then this one again, quite probably a more stylish saddle cloth, bit of metal there, and in the nice hairstyle. So I'm going to put these, I'll certainly do 2, maybe 3, paint them up and bring them back and let you know what I think about them. See you then. Okay, here we are, turntable time. I've done a few of them as Scythians. So there's that one. And the standard bearer of the Scythians. I do enjoy painting these ones. They were a bit of a challenge. They're sort of such vibrant colours. I ended up finding they were a little bit, the way I painted them was a bit duller, but I mixed a little bit of gloss varnish with a few of the later coats, and I think I've brought them up to a adequately shiny level that I'm happy with. So there's the 2 Scythians, and then I did one as a Parthian to do one with that cool pose with a Parthian shot shooting behind his back. Apparently was realistic that they could really fire that way, seems pretty amazing. But yeah, I couldn't resist doing one in that position. So I've just done the 3 mounted ones so far. I did a little bit of kit bashing. I'll show you them in a minute, a couple of infantry figures. But I mentioned earlier there was a suggestion that these horses would be slightly smaller than your average Victrix horse to show them as the sort of step ponies that both the Scythians and the Parthians used. So just to test that out, I'll just put up a Persian cavalry done by Victrix a little bit earlier. So we get them, I might just put those two on side by side. So when you've got just the two of them, yeah, definitely it's a little bit smaller. Hard to say by how much, maybe 10%, it's probably less than 10%. Anyway, slightly smaller horse. So that's quite a nice feature. Actually, now I look at them, the figure's actually a bit smaller as well, isn't it? Anyway. So that, I'll take the Persian guy off because we're not reviewing him today. So the Scythians and the Parthians. So they are beautiful figures. As always, you always get quality with Victrix, always good value for money. And the only downside, it's a very minor detraction, but they tend to have just some little mould lines along both sides of the human figures, but also on the horses, along their legs and so on. So it just needs a little bit of cleaning off. I think I've missed a few tiny bits along the front of the faces of the horses as well. Yeah, it's a very minor issue, which seems to be with all the Victrix figures, but not an issue. They're also very versatile and easy to mix and match with their other kits. So, with that in mind, I've produced a couple of infantry Scythian figures as well. So this is female archer and female with one of those nasty axes. I've done a bit of face painting, which I gather was a feature of Scythians. So this one, Scythian top half and the bottom half was from another kit. I think it was a Fireforge Mongols for that bottom half. This is a bit of War Games Atlantic body. I think it's a Fireforge head actually. The rest of the Victrix, well actually only that arm, the bow case, they're all from this Victrix kit. That I think is a Victrix Persian kit, pretty sure. Just in further size comparison, I've got one more Parthian horse archer. That's from Warlord Games, and so if you compare him with him, it's hard because he's on a higher base, but if you put them on the same level, I think they're very similar sizes. Maybe the Warlord Games guys are actually slightly bigger on this occasion. They're normally a bit smaller than the Victrix equivalent. Yeah, these tends a bit bigger, but anyway, basically quite comparable. Now stick around as usual. I will put up some still photos of some of these guys on campaign, and do hope you like them. Subscribe to them. I have built so many figures in recent times, I'm running out of space to put them. So if anyone's interested in buying any of my figures off me, please let me know. I'm open to offers. Some I'll probably want to keep regardless of the offer, but certainly I need to make a bit of space, so let me know. Alright, enjoy, subscribe, bell button, thumbs up, all that stuff, and I'll see you soon.